Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Terry Stiles, and I'm with Jim Hughes.
I'm with Terry Stiles, and it's Oxford News This Week. We're off and running. Hey, the village moves forward in spite of the protests not to. Residents are actually bugged, and there's also another brand new kid in town.
All that and more. The Oxford News begins right now. In spite of a multitude of petitions not to allow adult-use marijuana facilities into the village, Council passed the second reading of that ordinance, which will allow recreational marijuana businesses within the industrial zoning district with regulations. The district includes most of South Gillespie Street, south of Scripter Park, and some parcels around Lauk and Church Streets. All three areas are surrounded by residential neighborhoods, and the Gillespie properties are a little over 1 mile from the high school. Just one day before Council gave the nod to marijuana hawking, residents submitted two different petitions opposing the ordinance. One was meant to require Council to follow the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act, which requires Council to have a 2/3 vote to pass the ordinance. This vote would require 4 out of the 5 Council members vote one way in order to pass the ordinance or not. Unfortunately for the petitioners, the protest petition did not meet state criteria for it to apply in this case. The second petition consisted of 32 pages containing 242 signatures from village residents. That document cited 4 reasons to oppose the marijuana business go-ahead, including the village being too small to accommodate the industry, zoning too close to residential neighborhoods, and parks. Neither petitions were sufficient enough to stop 3 of the 5 council members from pushing through the ordinance. Maureen Helmuth, Allison Kemp, and Ashley Ross voted yes, while Village President Kelsey Cook, who said the petition speaks volume to her about what her constituents want, and Lori Bourgeau turned it down. Jim?
Thanks, Terry. Last week, M24 was shut down for well over 4 hours, both ways because of a chemical spill on Metamora Road. Transport truck, which had multiple containers of polymer, lost one which leaked nearly 80 gallons onto the roadway. The Oxford Fire Department, along with the hazmat crew, were called to the scene, which was quickly cleaned up by hazmat crews. Air monitoring was also done through the cleanup, and a subsequent team checked for any hazard material left, in which there were none. Again, congratulations to the 4-hour crew who got the job done. Terry?
Speaking of hazmat, online registration is open for the next No Haz Collection event, which is Saturday, June 26th at the Oakland County Service Center on Telegraph Road in Pontiac. Hours are 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. The event is free to Oxford Township and Village residents. Register online at nohaz.com.
Thanks, Terry. Well, it's a funny name, but it sure sounds good. What once was Vendetti's Pizza has now been replaced with the Sick Pizza Company. Owners Scott and Taylor and Tom Bailey took over the old business in May and have rebranded it Sick Pizza because Bailey already has a Sick brand in the motor racing world. He builds and races street-legal drag racing cars. Sick Pizza will offer Detroit-style deep dish along with hand-tossed round pizzas, subs, and salads. Taylor is not new to the business, as he's worked at Marco's Pizza in Lake Orion as a kid and then on to Guido's and Fatty's in Lake Orion. He is a Lake Orion graduate, currently on the Orion School Board, but says he's excited to be making pizzas in the Oxford area. You can order online. Go to their website, sickpizza.com. Terry?
As the fallout from COVID shutdowns continue, Oxford renters and homeowners are still able to apply for grants available for paying rent, mortgage payments, and utility bills. Oakland County is relaunching its neighborhood and housing development division's rent, mortgage, and utility relief program. Detailed information can be found online, as well as find the online application link at oakgov.com. The applicant must be legal residents of Oakland County, the inability to pay rent or mortgage due to temporary job loss, reduced work hours, or other income hardships caused by COVID. The landlord or mortgage company must agree to participate, have not received assistance from any other source for the same purpose, and more. Check your program at the link I just mentioned. Jim?
Thanks, Terry. Well, you know what? It's that time of year to get out and enjoy the outdoors. And this year in Oxford, the Township Parks and Rec staff is making it even easier for boaters to deter spreading aquatic invasive species when leaving Stony Lake. Staff installed at the launch a new weed removal tool, a plug wrench, and a boat brush, and interpretive signage which will assist boaters to get rid of those unintentional hitchhikers on their boat. All this is due to the grant secured by the Township Communications and Grant Manager, C.J. Carnacchio, from the Michigan Clean Boats, Clean Waters Grant. Awesome. Thank you very much. And we go back to you, Terry.
Speaking of unwanted critters, residents say it's raining caterpillars, so much so that you can hear them devouring the foliage from the trees. Adam Bonslawski told Oxford Leader the moth caterpillars are so abundant that they fall on him from the trees and have stripped over a dozen of his majestic oaks, which he estimates some to be over 100 years old. Richard Higginbotham says it's not just the landowner's problem, but an infestation that will spread if not brought under control, and is hoping to do something as a group next year to avoid gypsy moth caterpillars taking over the township. Currently, it appears many areas in North Oxford are infested.
Thanks, Terry. You know, as the school year ends, the officials were able to pat themselves on the back for making it through another year with a final celebration. First for the school year, Oxford Community Schools reported 0 active COVID cases among students or even staff members earlier in June. An updated COVID report showed 2 active students cases and 1 student in quarantine. Oxford was one of only 2 districts in Oakland County to offer in-person instruction all year, which again, Superintendent Tim Throne said they had no idea last August whether they would even be able to offer that. All year they knew they needed to start the year in person. Throne said it took patience, grace, and diligence by everyone, and couldn't be more proud of the staff and students and parents who all participated. And he ended up saying it was a great day to be a Wildcat.
So it is a good day to be a Wildcat. It's always a good day to be a Wildcat.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, the spirit and everything that goes on with that, and obviously, you know, they were faced with such a big task last year. I mean, hard to believe. I mean, we've had to reinvent how we do everything. I mean, you know, even the news sometimes, you know.
They handled it well. Yeah, we did that initially. It was me in my office with one camera. Yeah, we've had to fake it. Everybody's had to fake it.
I mean,
and I think Oxford did a really good job.
They did a good job. I mean, I remember some of the scenes, even before I started doing the news again, you guys were doing things on Zoom. And did you ever think like a platform would get such a big set of attention? Even commercials. Like, I mean, you watch your coffee commercial and they had Zoom. I mean, who would have thought that? I mean, you go to school at
Modern
broadcasting
technology.
And now it's all Zoom, whatever.
Yeah, right.
But anyways, I tell you, it's great to be here once again, and it's great to be a Wildcat. Anything you want to say goodbye before we go?
Yes, I'm Terry Stiles. Thanks for watching Oxford News This Week, where we bring your news closer to home.
Oh, yes, we do. We bring it closer to home. Hope you have a great week. Take care of yourselves, those around you, and we will see you again next week on Oxford News This Week. Have a great week, everyone.
Every year, distracted drivers are responsible for nearly 2.5 million car crashes. The National Safety Council reports cell phone use while driving leads to 1.6 million crashes. The NSC reports 1 out of every 4 car accidents in the United States is caused by texting and driving. Texting or reading text takes your eyes off the road for at least 5 seconds.
How you doing, ma'am?
So if you were traveling at 55 miles per hour, you're essentially driving the length of an entire football field blindfolded. Once a driver has been distracted, it takes only 3 seconds for a car crash to occur.
Welcome to Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from Automotive News. In our first story, BMW's 4 Series Grand Coupe is getting a bigger footprint and beefier engines as part of a more aerodynamic makeover. The redesigned 4-door arrives in the U.S. stores in August as a 2022 model. The 430i Grand Coupe is priced from $45,795, while the M440i xDrive starts at $58,995. Both prices include shipping. The 4 Series is BMW's 4th best-selling car in the U.S. The automaker delivered 4,785 vehicles in the first quarter. The 2022 4 Series Grand Coupe is 5.9 inches longer, an inch wider, and 2.1 inches taller than its predecessor. The wheelbase is 1.8 inches longer than before. The body includes improved aerodynamics to enhance driver's performance and efficiency. The drag coefficient for the 430i is 0.28, a reduction of 0.01 over the outgoing model. An active air flap control system, air curtain, streamlined light alloy wheels, and an almost completely sealed underbody help channel airflow efficiently. An aluminum hood and front fenders help reduce weight. Standard adaptive LED headlights include 2 slender U-shaped fiber optic light guides that serve as daytime driving lights. The 430i is powered by a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that delivers 255 horsepower, an increase of 7 horsepower from the previous generation, and a 0 to 60 mile per hour time of 5.8 seconds. The M440i xDrive is powered by a 3-liter turbocharged inline 6-cylinder engine that delivers 382 horsepower, an increase of 62 horsepower, and can propel the vehicle from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.4 seconds. The 6-cylinder version receives a 48-volt mild hybrid system that boosts power delivery and improves efficiency, BMW says. The 4 Series Grand Coupe offers an expanded selection of driver assistance systems, including a suite of ultrasonic sensors, cameras, and radars. BMW's driver-facing camera-assisted extended traffic jam assistance system is part of an optional package. The optical camera mounted in the instrument cluster monitors whether the driver's eyes are open and facing the road. The camera doesn't record in-cabin activity. That's lucky. And in the recall front, General Motors is recalling over 285,600 vehicles from the 2021 model year. 282,300 of them are in the U.S. because their airbag malfunction indicator lights might indicate or fail to indicate and warn drivers of issues with the airbags. The vehicle's communication gateway module could incorrectly process a loss of communication with the sensing diagnostic module, which could cause airbag malfunction indicator lights to inconsistently illuminate, according to a document filed with NHTSA. The recall covers a range of models: the Buick Envision, Cadillac CT4, CT5, Escalade, and Escalade ESV, Chevrolet Corvette, Suburban and Tahoe, and GMC Yukon and Yukon XL. GM said it would notify vehicle owners via recall notification letters on July 19th, and dealers will update the software in the communications gateway module. The automaker notified dealers on June 3rd. GM said the company is not aware of any accidents or injuries connected with the recall. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and we'll be right back.
Every day, it was the same old story. I worked hard to make sure no one noticed what I was dealing with, but my stomach never cared where I was. And the pain just kept coming. After too many close calls and even weight loss, I had to do something. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation helped me realize what was going on and even helped me find a specialist. Don't hide your symptoms. Get help at spillyourguts.org.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from New Scientist. Earth's evil twin, here we come. NASA's next 2 missions, named Da Vinci Plus and Veritas, are headed to Venus, Administrator Bill Nelson announced at a news conference on June 2nd. These 2 sister missions both aim to understand how Venus became an inferno-like world capable of melting lead at the surface, Nelson said. We hope these missions will further our understanding of how Earth evolved and why it's currently habitable when others in our solar system are not. Venus is almost the same size as Earth, but it seems to have had a different history. Although there's evidence that it was once covered in oceans and could have been habitable today, it's scorched hellscape with clouds of sulfuric acid. No spacecraft has lasted more than 2 hours on its surface, and no NASA mission has visited in more than 30 years. The Da Vinci Plus mission includes a probe that will drop through the Venusian atmosphere, tasting and measuring as it goes. One of the newly selected missions, Da Vinci Plus, will be the first in decades to send a probe to the planet's thick, hot atmosphere. The spacecraft will be a ball about 1 meter in diameter that will sink through Venus's atmosphere over the course of about an hour, taking measurements of how the content of the planet's atmosphere changes from top to bottom. The probe will also take some of the highest resolution photos of the Venusian surface yet on its way down. Those observations will help scientists figure out how Venus's water has changed over time, its volcanic activity now and in the past, and the planet's past potential for habitability. Difficult word. Da Vinci Plus is going to give us measurements of the atmosphere that we absolutely critically need, simply to put some basic bounds on one of the two scenarios for Venus: that it was always the way it is today, or that it was habitable and then got ruined, says planetary scientist Paul Byrne of North Carolina State University in Raleigh. Byrne is not involved in either mission, but is on NASA's Venus Exploration Committee. The data will also help scientists interpret observations of Earth-sized exoplanets with atmospheres that could be taken with the upcoming James Webb Space Telescope, giving researchers a way to tell exo-Earths from exo-Venuses. The other mission, Veritas, will orbit Venus and study the planet's surface to figure out its history and why it's so different from Earth. The orbiter will map the surface with radar, chart elevations to make 3D maps, and look for plate tectonics and volcanism still ongoing on Venus. These observations could provide data for a future mission to land on Venus. The missions are expected to launch sometime between 2028 and 2030, NASA said in a statement. Well, that's it for Science in the News. I'm Dave Kinney.
There's a hidden problem going on right now in our community. This past year has created tremendous financial stress on families. Many are having to make sacrifices they've never had to face before. Some are even going hungry. But there's also something amazing going on behind the scenes. Samaritan House, the Manna Food Pantry, Capax Kitchen, the Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry, just to name a few. All of these organizations are powered by an army of volunteers, people who give of their time and their money and other resources so that their neighbors, our area families, don't go hungry. And Four County Community Foundation has been there, behind the scenes, granting these organizations money for equipment and supplies to make this happen for many years. But we realize there's more need than ever before. So today, we're announcing a new fund, Feeding Families Forever. This fund is designed to create an everlasting endowment so that organizations in our community have the resources they need to keep doing their incredible work. One hungry mouth, one meal at a time. Now we're asking for your help. If you're ready to step up and help support us and see that no one ever goes hungry in our area, just follow the link provided and let's feed families forever.
For food security.
For us.
For our community,
For county.
Fort County Community Foundation. For us, for our community, Fort County.